A lovely good evening, viewers. It's a lovely Saturday, and we are back with a special interview. And we'll be looking at police brutality, and we will be hosting Assistant Commissioner RAE HAMOONGA to help us with this discussion. Chaza, good evening.
Good evening, CJ. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Hope you've had a wonderful day.
My day has been a busy one, but fine. And unfortunately, blackout has hit me. So I need to find an alternative as regards lighting now.
Yeah, we understand. Okay, great. So viewers, we are joined by Assistant Commissioner RAE HAMOONGA, who is the Zambia Police Service spokesperson. Commissioner HAMOONGA, good evening and welcome to Ubuntu channel.
Thank you very much. It's a good evening to everyone. I must confess that I missed you people in my illness, but I'm back. I thank God that my sister and the elder sister, Himba, stood by me during my illness. Wow. And I'm back on track.
It's good to hear that you are well and live and kicking.
Amen.
It's unfortunate that some of us did not hear of your sickness. We could have joined him in standing with you.
It's good. He didn't hear. Maybe would have finished me off.
All right, so we understand that tonight we'll be looking at police brutality, and would like to find out, from the police's perspective, what is police brutality?
Wow, it's something which is very difficult to say it, in the sense that when you are accused of doing something and then you are requested to define it. However, being people officers of the law who tried and define it. In simple terms, police brutality refers to the use of excessive force by police officers against civilians that they are charged with the responsibility of protecting. That is in simple language, and in layman's language, it barely refers to the excessive use of force against civilians whom they are charged with the responsibility of protecting.
So then we've heard about the transition from the police being the police force to police service. Maybe a brief explanation to that. Why was that paradigm shift?
Okay. This is a shift that was taken for the simple reason that, the world is evolving. So as such, it was felt, or during that time of the period in life, it was seen that if the police were to work with the members of the public in fighting crime, as opposed to using force, it was going to be easier for them, because even the criminals whom the police are looking for are actually with members of the community. So it was thought that the policy of community policing was the best way to go, because that would make the life or the work of police officers very easy, in the sense that criminals that live in the community with members of the public who actually are victims of these criminals, if they work together with the police, it would be very easy to police these members of the public. And I mean, it would be easy for the police to police the members of the public, because they would have the criminals being shown by the same members of the public who live with them, and thereby making it very easy for them to arrest such people.
So then, having this kind of approach that you do have, is excessive force permissible, by the police as they are actually, apprehending or handling, criminals or suspects?
Not at all. Excessive force is very clear. We are, like, for instance, Zambia police is charged with the responsibility of protecting the citizen. you would agree with me that you will not talk of policing without talking of human rights. In fact, the police world over are number one protectors of human rights. Okay, but of course, as they do this, you know that we use enforcement to do that, meaning we use force. So as such, people may feel or may misinterpret the use of force as police brutality. It's very common actually to do that, and people may not just understand, because even in the laws, you find that the use of force for the police officers is defined as minimum force, meaning there is no prescribed amount of force that a police officer can apply at any particular time. It's dependent upon the situation itself. Let me be practical here. Section is 24, 27, somewhere there of the Police Act gives powers to a police officer to use a firearm if somebody is running away from lawful custody. Now, tell me if the use of a firearm will be termed as police brutality. The answer is yes and no, of course. Yes and no. Because where in necessary circumstances where a police officer will use a firearm, it will be termed as police brutality. But the same law tells us if somebody is escaping from lawful custody, you can use a firearm. And this is no wonder police officers are given these firearms. They are bought. We don't buy them ourselves. You know, we mind you, even as police officers we come from society. We just chose to be policemen. Like others have chosen to be journalists, others have chosen to be doctors. Now, when we come from our villages, where we come from, come and join this noble career, we don't come with firearms. We find them in the police. We don't come with long batons. We find them in the police. We don't come with tear gas. We find them in the police. And all these things or articles have a prescribed way of using them. Let me end there before I end the discussion.
I'm glad that we have now set pace, for the topical discussion of the day. CJ, let me invite you before I come in with my next question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chaza. So, Assistant Commissioner, I'd like our viewers to have an understanding of what this animal called police brutality is. So, would need some examples, okay, that refer to police brutality. What are some of the examples that you can give that can be referred to as being police brutality?
Okay, there are a lot of examples. For instance, if maybe a police officer is maybe somebody is unarmed, okay, and then a police officer decides to use a firearm against him. Maybe it's just apprehending, he says you stop, or maybe somebody is unarmed, is running away, and then maybe he's just trying to stop him. Not necessarily that maybe he's under arrest. Okay, he's not facing any charge, but he's just trying to stop him, and then you use such force. Or maybe you injure a suspect. But of course, what I mean when you injure a suspect, for instance, maybe somebody he's been injured, maybe like grievously, maybe has a broken arm or leg, that kind of thing. In short, the bottom line is that when a police officer uses force that is excessive than what is required, then that will be termed as police brutality.
Okay, so from a layman's perspective, some of the questions that I'll be asking might sound so obvious, but we want people to have a good understanding of what we are talking about. Sure. So in a situation whereby a police officer beats up someone or is slapping someone, okay, we've seen incidences where a person is told to sit down, okay, and then they are being slapped. Does that qualify as brutality?
Okay, thank you very much. For instance, let me bring another practical example that may help you understand. For instance, officers are querying a riot. Okay, a riot is a situation where people are unruly, and now officers are using force, actually, which is the minimum force, to stop them from doing what they are doing. Now, when the police officers are saying maybe sit down, at that particular time, they are telling them to sit down. And if people are not complying, that's why you see use of long batons. Now, if, for instance, somebody has been apprehended, is in a vehicle, you are putting him in a vehicle, and the police officer starts beating such a person, that will be termed as police brutality, because in that instance, the person has already complied and is seated, and you are taking him to the police station. So that may be termed as police brutality because you are not supposed to use force unnecessarily. If someone has complied at that particular time, minimum force cannot be applied. But as long as somebody is not complying, is resisting an arrest, the officers are given powers to use minimum force. The law empowers them to use minimum force to subdue such a person so that he conforms to the arrest and then so that he can be arrested and taken to the police station.
Okay, great. So, okay, so these reports, let me say, have been okay. We've had people complaining, and there's this perception that the police usually use excessive force. There's brutality going on. Now, from the perspective of the Zambia police, I would say Human Rights Commission, they have their own perspective. The public have their own perspective. But from Zambia Police Service and the investigations that you've had, what are some of the things that would say are causes of brutality or things that have led to incidents of police brutality?
You know, the funny thing about all these things, I know this thing has just been talked about after these two instances of, I think, Mr. Wazin and Mr. Emmanuel Mamba. Now, we very, legal terms and legal matters are not handled wholesomely like the way journalists want to handle these things. Let me give you an example. If, for instance, you steal money from your employee, your place of work, from Monday or maybe from the first day up to the 31st of the month, and you have stolen 10,000 kwacha. You as a journalist, when you're going to write that story, you just say, RAE HAMOONGA has stolen 10,000 kwacha. Isn't it? Now, from the legal point of view, from the police point of view or the legal point of view, if on Monday you stole 2 kwacha, the other day you stole 2,000 kwacha, the other day you stole 3,000 kwacha, in the legal perspective, that cannot be quantified as 5,200 kwacha. No, it will be said on 1st June, count 1, you stole 2 kwacha. The following day, 2nd June, you stole 2,000 kwacha. On count 2, on the third count, it is alleged that on the third count, on the 3rd of June, he stole 3,000 kwacha. And this is why you find that when we are bringing issues from the legal point of view, we don't handle things wholesomely like that, because each and everything has its own account, and that account must be tabulated very well for the judge to look at it and make a conclusion to that. Now, let me bring it to the issue of brutality, because this is how we look at things from the legal point of view. For instance, the case of Emmanuel Mamba, Ambassador Emmanuel Mamba.
Yes.
In his account, you have never heard him mention of him having assaulted a police officer or him being arrested for assaulting a police officer. Now, tell me, the police have powers to apprehend somebody, and they are given authority to use minimum force. Somebody is resisting arrest, even assaulting a police officer. So what do you expect from such a situation? Do you think it's going to come out clean? Definitely you have some bruises, but those bruises will not be as a result of police brutality. They will be as a result of police officers applying minimum force on him who is resisting an arrest. Okay? That is why he has been talking about this. And tell me, if these cases have been there before his arrest, we've never heard of this story. And he has just come up now because he knows that one, you have arrested him for this particular offense, assaulting a police officer, and we have cases that were pursuing him that he has been arrested for. Okay? And of course, he came to the police with a medical form saying that, he has been assaulted, blah, blah, whatever. But he has assaulted a police officer. So in the assault of a police officer, definitely he could have sustained those injuries because he assaulted a police officer himself. This is a law enforcer who's authorized by law to get somebody. Number 2, he mentions that he was abducted. How is it an abduction when you have been gotten from wherever you have been gotten to a gazetted place by law where you're supposed to take and commit a crime? How does that become an abduction? Okay? So people should learn to say the truth and be factual in their discourse so that we together can have healthy discussions and pinpoint things as they are. The other question or the other issue of Mr. Wazin saying that he was also brutalized, we have not received any formal complaint from him, except Mr. Mwamba, we have received a complaint from him. But of course, even though his complaint is there, it's there in white and black. If you assault a police officer, definitely officers are going to use minimum force to have you apprehended, because you are now resisting an arrest. In fact, even resisting an arrest is also an offense. If you resist an arrest, it's an offense. You can be charged for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Chaza, go ahead.
Okay, Bwana Ray, you have brought in an issue of abduction, and it reminds me, we've heard this term so many times, especially from parliamentarians, that they've been several times been abducted, and especially from the parliament premises. Maybe just guide us about on this issue of adoption. What is tantamount to abduction?
Well, I think it's neither here nor there. Abduction simply means the action of taking someone away by force or deception. Okay, so if we will get you to a police station, that's not an abduction. You have been arrested because you have not been taken there by force or by deception. No. But of course, if you are taken to a police station where it's gazetted for you to be taken to, then how does that become an abduction? Because like you in case of Mr. Mwamba, we got him to bring the police station and charged him for those offenses that he committed. So how does that become an abduction? It's not an abduction, because he's just trying to run away from what he's facing. And he knows that these crimes that he has committed, they are grave. Because like even for the case of just assaulting a police, it's a very serious offense. It can take him now 5 years in prison. So he knows that the cases that he's facing are grave, and he's trying to buy time or trying to paint the police black, so that by the time he's arrested, he says, no, you see, it's because they're trying to cover what happened. But the truth of the matter is, Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba has a person who has been frequenting the police stations. Even the officers that are among us that were arrested, he knows them. So how can that be an abduction? And an abduction, like I'm saying, how can you be abducted when you are taken to a designated place by law? For instance, if you are sick and then you are taken to the hospital and say you have been abducted, you are sick, you are supposed to be treated at the hospital. Yeah. And as it is now, the head of state has made it very clear that we are going to live by the rule of law. And the rule of law entails that nobody is above the law. No wonder we have seen, even us just now, when we had this case in Luapula, where even a commissioner of police was arrested with other policemen. So even these politicians, whoever, and even people from the ruling party, they were arrested. So what does that mean? It means even as you exercise your rights now, you need to exercise them within the confines of the law. You don't need to go overboard. I know the previous regime was so used to this kind of, when people just put in a political regalia, would go about doing all sorts of things. But now this era has changed. If you are going to put a regalia, commit a crime, we arrest you because you have committed a crime. Not that because you belong to a political party, no. So people should just conduct themselves within the confines of the law. There are a lot of opposition leaders that have not been arrested, but others have actually not been attached. Why? It's because they know the law and they conduct themselves within the law. But those who want to go above the law, we definitely not leave them, because this is our job. This is what we are paid for. If your job is to arrest someone who commits a crime, what is wrong with that? That is our job. If a doctor's job is to treat people who are sick, what is wrong with that? So even us as policemen, we have chosen to ensure that there is law and order in the society. If somebody steps on somebody's rights, we arrest him. If somebody steps on the rights of the public, we arrest them.
Having said that, I'm interested in understanding the arresting procedures that are there in the police, because we've heard there are certain arrests where a warrant is needed, and others a warrant is not needed. How is the procedure like in terms of arresting an accused person?
Okay, thank you very much. When you are making, when a police officer is making his mind to arrest somebody, he would have done his background or the background in investigations, and then you say, well, this person has now qualified to be arrested. Now, when you're arresting somebody, at times The evidence that you want is with that person where he is. And if you, any slight movement, if you leave that person, will move wherever he is, that evidence will be destroyed. We have such situations. Okay? So, if, for instance, somebody kills somebody, you find them, he has killed somebody with a knife. Yes, we know that that person needs to be certified by a doctor to be said is dead. But you don't need to say, okay, let's get this body and take the body to the mortuary, and then the doctor certifies, then I come and arrest this person. You are saying this person has committed a crime here. You don't need to do that. But of course, you need those documentations to be certified by a doctor that this person died as a result of this action this person did. But you don't need to say, okay, you have been found with a body and a knife of blood, yes. But I'm not a doctor to certify that you have been killed by this person. So can you go? I'm coming. Let me take this body to the mortuary. Then the doctor conducts a postmortem. Then you come and arrest. No, it's not like that. So even when you are going to arrest somebody, there is, of course, there are officers that will require a warrant and whatever. But they are when you are making a when you want to make a decision to arrest somebody, it's up to the officer to make that decision. Once I make the decision, you arrest. If there's any queries, when that person appears before court, is what we call a trial within a trial. Okay? If somebody he wants to raise some preliminary issues, you raise those preliminary issues in court. And then the court will look at it. Well, did the officer act professionally or unprofessionally? Those things can be looked into in the court. So you can raise them when you are an accused person, to raise those things. Did the officer conduct himself in this way? But an officer's role, when he's effecting an arrest, to ensure that that person is arrested and taken for the course of law because of the offense that he has committed.
All right, maybe before I come in, CJ, please do come in. I'll come thereafter.
Okay, thank you very much, Aza. So, Assistant Commissioner, in the past few weeks, we've on social media and a number of blogs and political figures have been referring to the report, the human rights report that was published by the US State Department. And I would say we've been hearing a number of paraphrased versions of this report. And I would like your response on certain sections so that people are able to get it clear. But before you respond to that, I want to read part of the executive summary that highlights some of the issues that people have been bringing out in public. So part of the executive summary reads as follows. Significant human rights issues, including credible reports of unlawful or arbitrary killings, including extrajudicial killings, torture, and cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment by the government, harsh and life-threatening prison conditions, serious restrictions of freedom of expression and media, including violence and threats of violence against journalists, censorship, or enforcement of or threat to enforce criminal libel laws to limit expression, substantial interference with the rights of freedom of assembly and association, serious government corruption and existence of enforcement of laws criminalizing consensual same-sex sexual conduct between adults. Then the last part of the executive summary says, the government took steps to investigate and prosecute perpetrators of human rights abuses. Nevertheless, impunity for excessive use of force by law enforcement agencies, particularly police, remained a problem. The government also took steps to identify, investigate, prosecute, and punish officials for corruption, although impunity remained widespread. So, mostly, I would say the first part where it talks about those violations, that's what has been pronounced, in social media. I would like your response to this extract before I go to the next question.
Thank you very much, and I'm glad you have read the way the report is supposed to be read. And this is why when I was actually on a debate with the Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba on the Cabinet TV, I challenged him to this extract because him was just ending at where it's talking about the ill things. And yet, the report is not complete. It says the government took steps to investigate and prosecute perpetrators of human rights abuses. Meaning, we are living in a society where there's a crime. And there's nowhere there's no crime. So what is important in human rights abuses is that When a crime has been committed, has the perpetrator been arrested and prosecuted? If he has, then that's it. Because we're not going to live in a situation where there's no human rights. And in fact, if we are going to go back to the year before, when in the previous regime, what was there before? Because these things have to be compared. So which is better, this one or the previous one? Definitely this one is even better. We are moving somewhere where even there's even a government where it isn't even taking steps. That's what we're even doing every day as police officers. Crime will always be there. Even human rights abuses are part of crime. Crime will always be there. But what is important is crime must be within manageable levels. We must manage crime to manageable levels so people can go about, even jump around, even insult the government and come back. Well, that's fine. Because people should know that the law is there. There's a freedom of expression. But again, if you go overboard, when we arrest you, don't cry for police brutality because you are going to commit a crime. For instance, now defamation of the president is not an offense. It's not a crime now. You can defame the president because the law is not there. Publication of what was that? Publication of the case for Chipenzi. Publication of false news. It's no longer an offense, isn't it? So you can go ahead and publish because there's no offense that will have you to arrested on that one.
Yeah.
Because the law is not there. So you are not arrested for that offense because the offense is not there.
Yeah.
But now people should not think that all laws have been outdone. You know, certain laws just have been outdone. They are no longer there. Well and good. People can do that. But where you commit an offense, if the law is there, who arrests you? Because the law says so.
Okay, so my follow-up will be in relation to what Chaza asked in terms of procedures for arresting a person. So he said, first there's investigation, then the officer has to decide on the arrest. Now, I would say mostly on the part of the arrest, this is where we are getting a lot of queries or complaints that there is police brutality. Now, in the procedure for arresting a person, when do police issue a call out? Is it mandatory that they should issue a call out? Just as my colleague alluded to, the MPs that have been complaining to say they are being abducted. They are people of fixed abode, and usually they've been trying to say, why don't they just give us the call out instead of manhandling us and all that? So in your response, please clarify in the procedure for arresting a person, when do you have to manhandle someone? When do you issue a call out? If a person is not a violent person, as would assume the honorable MPs should be, doesn't it just make sense that it will be easy for them to come to the police station or comply without force being applied to them? So please just give us what the correct procedure of arresting a person would be, even for if bamumunzi mkombonum ngatugwiriwa. Yeah, what you should expect. Please, Commissioner, you can go ahead.
Now, let me. You know, my brother, an arrest is not a good thing. An arrest is not a good thing. Even us policemen fear an arrest because it's not a good thing. Because an arrest, what it simply does is that it takes away your liberties. Now, your rights, actually, everything. Your freedom. When you're arrested, you are confined. So it's not a good thing that where somebody will just say, okay, come and arrest me, I'm coming, I'm bringing myself. No. That's why the law gives the police officers to use the minimum force. Because it's not a good thing. Nobody wants
resistance.
Yes. And that's why we have the law has provided for officers to use the minimum force, because it is not nice to be arrested. It calls for you to be your rights and liberties to be taken away from you. And nobody wants to lose his rights so easily. Not at all. Nobody wants to just go down and say, no, okay, take me. No. They don't want to, because it's not a good thing. Because, you know, first of all, mind you, before a police officer comes to arrest you, you commit a crime. Okay, actually, you invite the police to come to you. Police officers don't come to you, don't go to anybody. No, we don't decide. We just go to the office and then you find there's a report. Oh, somebody has committed a crime this side. Oh, Chimbonta did this. Oh, Charles has done this. Oh, okay, let's follow up. Then we come for you. So we do not. You actually invite us. So
you work on invitations.
Yes, and we gladly receive those invitations because it's part of our job to do that. So
invitation to treat.
Yes. Please come and get me and put you in your custody. And that's what happened. So an arrest is not a good thing. Let's make it very clear that an arrest is not a good thing. Even us don't want to be arrested, policemen. That's why you see us not committing. People will be laughing at that. No, this one is poor. You don't want to steal. Because we know that if you steal, you'll be arrested. But others think that they can go about to do all sorts of things without being arrested. No, there are laws in this country. So you must conduct yourself appropriately so that the laws don't visit you. So in this case of an arrest, when a police officer is arresting someone, definitely he's going to approach you, identify himself as a police officer, and that you request you to accompany him to a police station. Okay? And when you reach the police station, when you are there, you'll be given an opportunity. If you're going to be interviewed or interrogated, you will be given an opportunity whether you want your legal counsel to be there. If you say, I want my legal counsel to be here, all right, we'll put you in custody, waiting for legal counsel to come. If he's not coming, we'll be there waiting for him to come because we can't proceed. And it's your right for you to have a legal representation. You'll be there waiting for your legal counsel to come. When he comes, then we go ahead and arrest you. So that is how they arrest. So people will find that when a police officer is in there to arrest somebody, he actually tell you the reason why you are being arrested for. Okay? So that you know why you are being arrested. The offense will be told to you. First of all, it is what we call a warn and caution statement. A warn and caution statement basically foretells you or warns you that police are making investigations in relation to this offense that you have committed on a particular day. And you may not wish to say something, but whatever you may wish to say may be given out as part of evidence. So we ask you, you say, no, I have nothing to say. Okay, sign here. You say, I have nothing to say. Then you go now to the actual arrest now, where we now touch you on the body and tell you that you are being arrested for the particular offense which you committed on particular such a day, and so on, such. Then it ends. Then you'll be arrested for that offense. Now, if that offense is not bondable, we take you in custody. If it's a felon, you go in until you go to the court until such a time that you have been set free by the court of law, or if you are acquitted.
Okay, thank you very much. So,
just a follow-up. Okay. CJ, a follow-up onto your question. I haven't, heard, circumstances under which, a call-out is used.
Okay, thank you. A call-out may be used in instances where, mostly if, for instance, we want to come and interview you, not necessarily arrest you. Okay, that's what we use. Now, you may be in employment where you need to talk to your employers. So it's actually a notice to your employers informing them that you have been called to the police. Now, you can't just tell your employer that I've been called to the police without any written document. So a call out works in such situation where you can give it to your employer, sir, I've been summoned to go and appear to the police at this particular time, on this particular date. So you show them, and it's a legal document, it is written to show the employer that, oh, the police is calling you for an interview at the police station. So it's a notice to the employer in most structures. This is the famous call out. It's a notice to the employer. So if you're not employed, don't even need a call out to call you there. You can just come in and pick you and take the place because you're not employed. So who are you going to notify who's the employer when you're not employed? And there's no comparing reason for the police to issue a call out. It's not compared that you can use a call out all the time. No. Even when you are working at the employer, you can even come and get you if it's necessary for you to be arrested. Remember the point I said? If, for instance, if we know that if we let you the next 24 hours, maybe you have been planning to run away, then you should issue a call out. Then whom am I going to find there? Nobody. So it's dependent upon the situation, the way it's, because we are fighting crime. And like I said, all these things that we are doing, we are answerable to the law as well as police. So it's not something that we are doing behind the back or behind the scenes where we are just doing things haphazardly. No. Even when you're not happy the way we're doing things, when you go in court, you can raise those issues and the court will look at them before they even proceed with the matter.
So then, having talked about that, what recourse does a citizen have, against the police where there's an alleged, police brutality?
Okay, thank you very much. A citizen is well protected. We have oversight institutions. The Human Rights Commission is one of them. We have the Police Public Complaint Commission. Now, this commission has always been mistaken because of the name police. People think that maybe it's within the police itself. No. This is a separate entity outside the police where you go and talk or report your complaint, and the commission will look into that complaint that you have raised. And mind you, this commission is headed by a former Inspector General of Police as of now, Mr. Zunga Siakalima. Previously, it was headed by Mr. Chingaipe. He was a former Deputy Inspector General of Police. The other time, it was headed by also a former Inspector General of Police, Mr. Francis Njovu. So right now, the one who's heading it is Mr. Zunga Siakalima. So you see how fair this commission is. You are talking of professionals, so such that when you raise an issue to them, they will look at it critically with a very clear and biased mind or eye. They'll look at it and then be able to see what is at stake. So members of the public are free to go to this commission. If you feel Mr. Hamoonga has done wrong to you, you write your complaint, you take it there. They'll respond. If I'm at fault, they'll summon me. I go and explain. Then they'll make a ruling out of that to the Inspector General of Police. And then if I found that I'm wanting, punitive action can be taken against me.
That recourse is there, but it becomes difficult for the citizens. Let's imagine where somebody is being arrested, and maybe it's a number of police officers that are beating up this person who is not even violent at all, and he doesn't even know the names of these police officers, and how really can they report the police officers? This is why we have people probably just going out in the media and saying there's police brutality, but they cannot itemize which police officers have perpetrated such brutality. What are you doing as the police regarding these public complaints as regards police brutality?
Well, of course, we cannot stop you from talking, but people should talk facts, because if you're going to start spreading lies, you may end up committing an offense, and then when you're arrested again, start crying for being brutalized by the police. Now, people that have complaints can channel their complaints to any nearest police station. For instance, the way we operate as police, we're an organized body. We don't just move anyhow. So if you are going to say I was brutalized or I was beaten by police officers at a particular point, that immediately just give us the time and area, we'll be able to know which officers were in that particular area, and then your complaint can be looked into. Like I said, the oversight institution, the police public complaint commission, is actually at times they even advertise calling for members of the public to go and lodge their complaints there. Okay, so people should not feel intimidated. They are free to do that. Even people, when you find someone who's committing a crime in your locality, come forward, report such a person. Because like I said, that the police is the number one defender of human rights. That all these people that are talking about human rights, they're just talking. They don't act to do things as policemen do to protect human rights. We are the number one defenders of human rights. That you can't take it away from us. That's our job. Every day we wake up to defend human rights. But of course, people raise concerns the way we conduct ourselves. But at times, they may not understand how we work. Now, let me just maybe try to just make you think a bit. If you look at the issues of police brutality, people, they bother them on the articles that we use as police, isn't it? Firearms, long batons, tear gas. No, the police are being brutal. Now, imagine a situation where we would be able to get away all these things from the police. What sort of a police would that be? Yes, you agree with me that that will not be a police. So now, that is why it is important you understand our operations. It's because we are given these articles because of the nature of our operations. Our operations at times will require us to use force to defend the rights of other persons that are being infringed upon. Okay, and this is why even ourselves as police, when we are given these articles, they're not just issued without any rules. No, they are issued with guidelines, and we know how to use them. And even somebody uses them overboard, that's why you find a police is arrested and even taken to court, just like another citizen who's arrested for committing a crime.
What kind of offenses warrant a detention? Okay, and I want to tie it. I've seen there's a comment. Let me just bring it on screen from Mwaba Vashi Shekaina, who says, is it mandatory for the police to arrest someone over deaths, or those are court issues? So at what point, or what qualifies a person to be detained or put in cells or arrested?
Okay.
Yes.
Most of these offenses that we have, they are detainable. Okay, if you contravene a criminal act, you can be detained. Now, there are those what we call bondable offenses. Okay, if an offense can actually be bonded, but even bond has conditions. It's not just going to say, give me bond, because bond has conditions. When you have given a police bond, in fact, let me just warn people that are fond of signing for police bonds. Because people don't understand this. You think that is just signing, then somebody comes out. I'm sure people have learned lessons from the two cases that are at court for Monia Zulu and
Zulu.
Yes, I think people have learned lessons from that.
Yes.
Because when you sign for a police, even when you sign for a police bond, there's a sum that is attached to that bond. So if that person you are signing police bond runs away, what will happen is we will first get you, lock you up, and then also make you pay through the court for that amount of money that you have pledged to pay. So you are actually there giving surety that I promise that I'm going to bring this person to the police each and every time he's supposed to appear here. If he starts going to court, it means you have to continue going to court as well, escorting him, ensuring that he's in court. If he's not there, then you're in trouble. The first person, because you are now the surety yourself, you are saying, I'll be taking this person. You take responsibility from the state. Instead, remember the detention aspect. When the police detain you, they are saying that we'll be taking him to court each time he's supposed to appear in court. Now you assume that role of detaining him. Say, no, me, I'll keep him. I'll be bringing him to court each time he's needed to appear for court. So that is what it means when you sign a police bond. So offenses that are, of course, that are bondable, there are 9 felony cases. Capital offenses like murder, aggravated robbery, those treason, terrorism, those they are not bondable. Once you are in, it's only until you are acquitted that you can come out. If you're not acquitted, you don't come out until the case is disposed of. And this is why some of these offenses, they're very serious. You don't need to commit them, because once you commit them, you'll be inside until you are acquitted by the courts of law. Okay, thank you very much. In that case, there are two things here. There's bond and bail. When you're talking about bond, you're talking from the police point of view at the police station. For instance, at the police station, you can be denied the police bond. Then you go to court. The court can give you bail. Now, the court will set its conditions, how you are supposed to abide by that bail. Once you skip those conditions, then the court again itself will come back and then mete out punishment in relation to what you have not complied with. So the conditions will be set for you. Maybe, for instance, it will be a cash bail, or maybe they'll say if you skip bail, you pay so much an amount. So those are conditions that are set by the courts themselves, not as the police. You know that now we have 3 separate arms here. There's the police, there's the National Prosecution Authority, then there's also the judiciary. So in that case, the court is actually which sets the conditions, and then they also make a decision on what they should do with you, either detain you or maybe send you to prison or fine you. So it depends on the conditions that have been set by the court when you skip bail.
What about on the bond aspect? If they have paid the bond amount, what happens? And the suspect has run away.
Yes, of course, that is you pay that amount, and you will be required to bring that person again. You might also actually be taken in, yeah, because you have not applied by the conditions. So my when we say you pay the amount and also bring the person, that is because you signed. Because you can actually maybe see at times people may think that there are serious offenses actually may arise there. You may actually be charged for aiding someone to escape because you signed bond and then he's not going to be seen. Where is he? Because you said I'll bring him. So if he's not there, you pay the money. Even you can even charge for aiding someone to escape because you had promised that person won't be there. And so I was saying, it's even good people that are fond of signing bond. It's not don't just sign these things. Make sure that when you sign for this person, you have to bring this person until this matter is disposed of in court. Like for instance, me on my personal level, I cannot sign a bond for anybody unless my father and mother.
Yeah, of course I am.
So, I can't. Because I will lose my job. Be arrested, I lose my job.
Yeah. So, Commissioner, you did not answer this query where Mwaba is asking, is it mandatory for police to arrest someone over deaths? Or those are court issues? Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I'd forgotten about that. Sorry. The issue of deaths, a person cannot be arrested over death because it is actually a civil matter. Okay. Now, if, for instance, you go and get money from somebody, you say, I'm going to pay you on Wednesday, and you don't pay money on Wednesday, that is now obtaining money by false pretense. You're not paid a single way. You got money from somebody, I'll pay it back on. Today is Sunday, Saturday, isn't it? So I'll pay on Wednesday. Wednesday comes, you don't pay. That person complains. Who arrests you for obtaining money by false pretense? Because you have not paid the money. Now, if you get money from somebody, you say, I'll pay you on Wednesday. Then you pay, maybe it's 1,000 kwacha, you pay 200 kwacha or 800 kwacha. That becomes a civil matter. That's now a debt. So you cannot be arrested for that. Okay? But again, also some complainants are very clever. You bring that money, that 200 kwacha, he comes that money to the police, says, this person promised to pay me this money, but he has not paid that money. So that money becomes an exhibit again against you. You understand? I hope you have understood that. Like, for instance, you owe me money. You owe me 1,000 kwacha, and then you bring 200 kwacha. You promise to pay me today the whole amount. Don't pay me everything. You bring a 200 kwacha. Then me, I get that 200 kwacha, come to the police. This person owes me 1,000 kwacha, and they promise to bring, but he has just brought a 200 kwacha. He has obtained the money, cheating me that he was going to pay me, and they don't pay me. So now what we do? Get you and that money and take you to court. You go and argue it out there in court. Yeah, but what is important here is this: people should not get money with crooked minds. If you get money, you say you're going to pay on Wednesday. Why not pay the money on Wednesday? Why should you not pay that money? Because you said you're going to pay it on Wednesday. So you get the money and pay back on Wednesday. Why should you start being pushed? No, at the funeral. But why did you make a promise that you're going to pay on Wednesday when you know that there are funerals? Because people die every day. So it means even you yourself, when you're getting money from somebody, make sure you get the money. Be honest. Don't start hiding behind the law, say no, there are trouble in mistake. No, but the promise was that you're going to pay the money. Look at what is on the money. It says, I promise to pay the bearer on what? On the money. What is on the money? Yes. So if you get money on, say I'm paying on Wednesday, what is different when paying on back on Wednesday? Somebody has given you money and then don't start troubling you. Why should you do that? People should be honest. If you're going to get the money, pay back when you're supposed to pay that money.
And I wanted to find out, RAE, about these people who have been charged and taken to court, or rather not taken to court, but kept in police custody. What are challenges that you as officers are facing when you want to effect a lawful arrest to individuals that had held high positions in government, the previous government, for example? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mkirebai.
Okay,
Commissioner, you can
thank you.
respond.
Thank you. I think from the police point of view, we don't have any much challenges in terms of apprehending people that were previously in government. But of course, they have this publicity when somebody's been arrested, but they don't take offense. And also, what you should know is that as police, our field day is normally in the courts of law, not in the public domain. Somebody may talk a lot of things, but we are constrained at times to talk, not necessarily because we want to talk, but because we know that they want us to speak certain things which they want to use in their defense. But for us, for the sake of securing a conviction, we'd rather remain quiet and let people talk because the judgment is going to talk.
So, as the Zambia Police Service, what practical steps are you taking and have you been taking and that you have in place to ensure that people are sensitized and they have this confidence in the police service when it comes to reporting as well as handling these complaints of police brutality?
The police is not an individual. The police is the law. So when your rights have been abused, like I told you, the number one defender world over, not just in Zambia, world over, the number one defender of human rights is the police. You cannot talk of policing without talking of human rights because the police is there to defend the rights of each and every citizen world over. So if your rights are abused, the place to go is the police. And like I said, remember earlier on, I said that the law ought to be implemented as it is, not as it ought to be. So if somebody causes an injury to you, that is an assault. So what else would you want to do? You have to report to the police. So that an assault is looked into. If somebody has broken your leg, that is grievous bodily harm. It's provided for in our laws. So whatever injury that somebody sustains is provided for in the laws of Zambia. So we cannot just operate from nowhere and say, no, this offense can be like this. No, if that's the case, please let the legislators legislate laws that will criminalize those injuries in a certain way. But as it is now, you have to follow it, what is there. And this offense, they carry very serious penalties. They're not small penalties. And I doubt even if there are going to be any other laws that will come in, whether they will, I doubt anyway. If the laws will be brought in, then we'll have serious penalties than what is provided for these laws. So these laws, they are there. So people should not start making excuses. People should not make excuses. No, me, I can't do this. No. The laws are there. It's provided for. So just report, and you might have been looked into. If you're not happy, there's police competent authority. If you're not happy, you can even go to the court of law. How did McDonald Pence go to the court of law to have that case removed? Is it section 63? It's because people should take things seriously. If you feel that something is burning, go to the courts of law. The laws are going to interpret it. And once the courts interpret that law, it becomes law. It becomes a precedent. We'll follow it up. All of us will be obliged to follow it. Just like it was with McDonald Pence. He followed that. He thought those things were not being done properly. He went to the court of law. The court of law made a ruling. And here we are. We can't even talk about that offense anymore. It's out.
All right, probably just one question, Commissioner. How long should one be in custody when they've been arrested, awaiting, to go to court?
It's a simple 24 hours. 24 hours, you should be in custody. After that, you must appear for the course of law. That's what's provided for the laws. Now, on that particular score, yes, it's 24 hours, but there are challenges in certain instances where it's almost impossible to do that. How is it impossible to do that? Let me give you an example. There are certain places where there are no courts. Okay, we have what is called circuit courts. And you know what that means, circuit? It means something goes in circles. So if you arrest somebody, you want to take him to court, which court are going to take him? But there's no court. So you have to wait for the court to come there because there are circuit courts. Okay? It's not that it's our own making as police officers run, but the law is provided that someone's supposed to appear 24 hours for the courts of law. Now, if you are arrested like on a day like yesterday, Where do we take you? Today there's no court. Sunday there's no court. So where can we take you? Like for instance, in the case of Honorable Chilango, who has surrendered himself today, Friday, at the Kawabo police, where there's a bench warrant issued against him. The court is sitting on Monday. So you will be there today, tomorrow the whole day. Not that we want to keep him, no. You can't take him anywhere. Where is the court? Unless the court says
come on Monday.
Well, we don't know if the court is going to sit tomorrow. If the court sits, we can take him. Because for us, we are given an order say wherever he comes, wherever I find him arrest him. Now he has brought him. Fortunately, he has brought him. So we'll keep him until when the court is ready to
sitting.
Yes.
He should have come on Monday.
Well, it's up to him. He said to come. We don't know why he came today. But for us, he has come, so we have to keep him. If the court wants him, even to now, if the court order to say bring him now, we can take him there.
Okay, so there's a question here. I'm sure it requires a quick answer. Is it okay for a police to take car keys for a traffic offense?
Okay. Under the traffic offenses, there are offenses that are impoundable and non-impoundable. So if the offense is impoundable, yes, it's right, because it's impounding the motor vehicle. And you cannot impound the motor vehicle by taking the keys. Because if you don't take the keys, the car will go away. So when in a circumstance where the offense is impoundable, yes, it's impounded. You can take the keys because it's impounding the motor vehicle. Okay? And then also, failing to adhere to police directives is an offense. So the police officer is directing stop, you bypass, that's an offense. Or saying stop here, you are driving, that's an offense. And these offenses, it's not that it's us policemen that made them. No. It's you, the Zambian people, that are making these laws. It's you through your representative. When people are shouting, hey, when they go to vote and they vote, those people who are voted into, they go and make these laws. So those laws, us as police, our job is to enforce these laws.
As police, why do you allow the neighborhood to beat as well? What I know during Shishita, you guys working with neighborhood are supposed to help to identify criminals from innocent people. This is Obino Chilesha.
Okay. First of all, I think neighborhood are not just supposed to identify, they can even apprehend as well. Okay? Even you, Obino Chilesha, you can apprehend a criminal and bring the police. That's what's called seize and arrest. You can arrest somebody and bring the police if he's committing a crime. It's provided for in the laws. Now, the issue of beating. Now, the issue of beating, like I said earlier on, beating is in two folds. If you are resisting an arrest, you think those wrong buttons are for what? That's what I meant. And like I said, we didn't come from
massage.
We didn't come from the village with those wrong buttons. No, me, I just came with my bag and clothes to be trained as a police officer. I was given, when I entered the police, I was given a long button, how to use it. I was trained to use it. And I know when I'm supposed to use it and when I'm supposed to use it lawfully and when not to use it. It's provided for in the laws. So minimum force is there. But the beating, like I said earlier on, when somebody has been arrested and is complied, the beating should cease there and then. Unless he's resisting or he wants to run away, that we can use. Remember, I told you that people should know that these firearms that are given to us, they are for decoration. No, they are for use. Those that have ammunition, what do you think you're going to buy those ammunitions? It's for use. And how to use them, the law is provided for how you can use a firearm.
Thank you so much, CJ. It's been a great program. Thank you so much. And, Ubuntu channel is so grateful to, Commissioner RAE HAMOONGA. Not forgetting the people out there that have been following. Due to time, we wish we could go on, but this is the time that we have to actually end our program. My name is Chaza right here, and I was co-hosting with CJ Chibonta Jule. From myself, CJ, and Commissioner RAE HAMOONGA, we are saying thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. God bless you all.
Thank you.